guys, I'm live reaction on this Grimdark reading called Can't Stand to Be Apart. It is 20 minutes and 40 seconds long, and Sweetie Belle's been quiet. But this is about fucking Sweetie Belle. And oh come on, let's get this fucking reaction started in 3, 2, 1, go. Sparrow Presents. Warning: the following reading contains that may disturb some content.
After years of friendship, after years of work, and fun along the way, the Cutie Mark Crusaders finally discovered their true destinies to help ponies get their cutie marks. Yet, the marks on their flanks symbolized that they would forever be friends. They would never fall apart. Even after fights they had, they would always come back to each other.
In the background?
Even after spending the day without each other, they would always come running back. They felt an ache, an aching pain sometimes in their heads that told them, whispered to them, to stay together. They did, having many good laughs and many good times, helping others and helping each other. But when they were apart, they felt sick. They felt that pain return, and the longer they were apart, the stronger it became. The more their legs felt weak, and the more their heads felt heavy. They spent more and more time together, as they knew about the pains. But at night,
it sounds like some ponies behind me.
Afraid, they would whisper in their minds to each other. Scootaloo
Even that
would
sounds
ask for her only
spooky.
true family to return. The ones who were like sisters to her, just the same for them all. They felt like sisters.
What
like
the heck is that?
I miss you guys.
Oh fucking hell!
I know, Scootaloo, but do you...
Is that blood?
Do you ever get that feeling? What feeling? Are you talking about the pains?
Yes.
You feel them too? Whenever we're apart?
You feel...
It just doesn't make sense, y'all. I felt them after getting our cutie marks. The pain is worse. It's bad. And when I'm farther away from both y'all, it's really bad. Applejack gave me medication for the pain, but it's not helping. We do this every night. We'll see each other in the morning.
We do.
Just go to the clubhouse right away. Good night. See you guys soon.
Good night. Good night.
Soon.
You sound like a detective. Or a police officer. That's
she ran through the darkness.
Apple Bloom story.
Her vision blurred and her legs in burning pain. She didn't have to look to see where she was going. She could sense Sweetie Belle's presence as she neared the carousel boutique.
I know that fucking outtake.
Sweetie Belle woke in a startle, sitting up and knowing Apple Bloom was near. She felt her get closer and closer in every second, and the pain in her joints had become lesser.
Why is it shining a
She
bit?
hopped out of her bed to go to the door to greet her midnight guest. She opened the door before Apple Bloom even knocked on it, and gasped when she saw her friend. She was missing her usual bow. Her hair was messy and tangled.
Unusual for Apple.
Pouring from her eyes and mouth was not tears and saliva,
blood,
but blood.
Blood.
Her sunset orange eyes had lost their sparkle, had reddened from the stress and pain she had endured. Her breaths were ragged.
What was that in the background?
Heavy. Sweetie grabbed her and took her inside, putting a white hoof around her friend. What happened? Instead of speaking out loud, Apple Bloom spoke through her mind directly to Sweetie Belle, shutting off her conversation from Scootaloo as to not disturb her in her sleep.
It sounds like she's gonna get
The pain was just too much. It's gotten worse.
It sounds like, you know, marked a bit.
The Cutie Mark Crusaders spent more and more time together, sometimes just huddling together in their clubhouse, to relieve themselves from the pain. But after many weeks, Applejack made Applebloom come with her on an apple delivery.
Looks like she got mascara on.
Refused to go, but missed spending time with her older sister. And Scootaloo and Sweetbelle watched as their friend got farther and farther away, tears streaming down her face as she yelled for Applejack to stop. No more whining, you hear?
You can shut up!
The fillies felt an ache in their stomachs, and their legs grow weak as Applebloom and Applejack
Shit, now
disappeared
Sweetbelle!
into the woods. They were gone for 2 days. 2 agonizing days as hours by hours went by.
2 days?
The two's pain grew stronger. Word had gotten back that Applebloom had fallen into severe pain and had been hospitalized at wherever they were delivering. They could hear Applebloom screaming for help in their minds, telling the nurse that medication would not help and that she needed to see her friends. The 2 fillies had grown more tired and weak and rushed through the forest searching and searching for the place,
seriously, shut up.
feeling and sensing that they were getting closer to her. They discovered a small town beyond the forest, finding the hospital and rushing inside. Already, their pain had gone down increasingly and their heartbeats slowed. They asked for Applebloom's room and found Applejack pacing outside of the door in the clean white hallway of the hospital. Above her, the light flickered, and her face was nervous and pale.
Scootaloo, Sweetie Belle, what are y'all doing here?
Helping Applebloom! Scootaloo cried, forcing the door open and rushing in with Sweetie Belle. The door shut, and the nurse looked up from her clipboard.
I'm sorry,
who are you?
Who's that?
Family? You should have told us you were coming to visit.
It sounds like an alien experiment.
Okay, well... Applebloom suddenly sat up, gasping for air and coughing. Her face was covered in blood, and it only smeared when she rubbed her cheek. She was suddenly filled with energy and joy at the sight of her friends. The pain that had been bothering them all day had faded at their close proximity.
Girls!
Shit!
Applebloom exclaimed.
Why does it look like the cute mark is shining?
But how? You were unconscious. You were going to die.
She rushed out of the room.
I'll get the doctor.
The
Stay
key
here.
to the story.
She shut the door, and the friends were left alone together.
Applebloom, are you okay?
No.
Belle asked. She nodded.
It feels bad. It seems like we have to stay closer than ever before.
It is very bad.
Applebloom
very bad
worriedly.
Indeed.
Over time, it's gotten worse the farther we are apart.
Sweetie said, shaking her head in confusion. She gripped onto a tissue with her magic and brought it to Applebloom's face, where she wiped off the blood. Applebloom looked down.
But we can't be together all the time.
We can't. We won't be able to be with any pony else.
Aww.
If this continues to the point where we can't even be 10 feet apart.
We can't be with any pony else?
Ever again.
Said.
What if I don't want to be with any pony else? Maybe this will bring us closer together.
Scootaloo and Applebloom looked at each other. Their desires to be together were strong, but they couldn't believe Sweetie Belle. It sounded as if she didn't want to spend time with her own sister.
But I have to become a better flyer. Rainbow's going to help me. I can't skip that.
Tears welled in Scootaloo's eyes, and every pony began to worry.
Don't worry, it's
Come on, Scootaloo!
Rainbow Dash yelled with encouragement, but even though she knew Scootaloo was a weak flyer, she had seemed weaker than normal. Scootaloo's body was tired. She could barely flap her wings. She was separated from her friends. Even though she loved Rainbow Dash, the pony she had looked up to for years,
what is up with the music, man?
She felt a sudden desire to abandon her. Scootaloo did not want to be here, She felt no care for Rainbow Dash any longer.
Why is
She did not want Rainbow in her
Sweet?
life
Why is Sweet
anymore.
Belle's eyes normal?
She only wanted her friends. She only wanted to fulfill her destiny. That is what the cutie mark whispered to her. That is what it told her. She hated Rainbow Dash.
The cutie mark is
Scooby
talking
stopped
to the
flapping her wings.
CMCs?
Bloody tears filled her eyes as her desire to be with her friends greatened, as her separation from her friends caused her physical and emotional pain.
I don't need you. You aren't helping me. I will never fly, and I accept that. Just get away from me.
Scooby ran towards
You can always go to the Rainbow Factory.
the pain fading slowly as she sensed Apple Bloom.
Apple Bloom, where's Sweetie Belle? She's with Rarity. I reckon a Sister's Day, but she's been talking to me and she doesn't sound too happy to be anywhere near Rarity.
Why?
Did they have a fight?
No.
No. I can hear you two. Get me out of here. Rarity's being annoying. She won't let me be with you girls today. She doesn't understand us. She never will.
She never will.
The same happened with Rainbow and I. She wanted to help me. She was only separating us. Do you think they're trying to cause us pain?
Yes.
Girls, we can't just... I think they know. I hate Rarity.
Scootaloo arrived at Sweet Apple
That
Acres
is
to
that
find
is
Apple
our
Bloom
character.
awaiting her
That is our
arrival.
character.
They hugged, and Apple Bloom asked her to go to the clubhouse. Scootaloo nodded in agreement. She noticed blood dripping from her friend's face, and when she touched her cheek, she felt warm, sticky blood on her own face, stemming from how common this had become at this
Oh,
point.
there's Scootaloo.
But now, it not only came from their faces and sometimes mouths, but now their ears and nostrils too. Apple Bloom and Scootaloo sat in the clubhouse, awaiting Sweetie Belle's arrival.
It's a cute.
Hurry up, Sweetie Belle. I'm almost there.
Calm down. Calm
Scootaloo
down.
looked up at Apple Bloom.
I think we have to stay here for a while. When Sweetie gets back, we need to stock up on food and get blankets.
And wipe
Apple
away your
Bloom
blood.
nodded.
We're not leaving the clubhouse for a long while.
Sweetie Belle entered.
What was that in the
Blood,
background?
Then all of them combined was on her face, her coat, and her hooves.
Sweetie?
Belle? Scootaloo asked. Her breathing was heavy, and her bright green eyes glistened
You know who
disturbingly
Sweet Belle is,
rather
yeah?
than her usual cheerful look. Her teeth were gritted angrily.
Rarity isn't dead. At least, I don't think so.
Yet.
What are you talking about?
Apple Bloom asked in surprise.
Are you reading someone's mind?
Hurt her? She would not stop going on and on, talking and talking. Oh, sweetie, do look at this gorgeous dress. I've been wanting to punch her in the muzzle for a long time. That doesn't sound like you.
Oh, sweet.
Scootaloo scooted away from the
No.
door.
You're out of character,
Sweetie.
all of you.
You know what I said earlier? They know, Scootaloo. They want to cause as much pain to us as possible. They're doing this, girls. Our own families have betrayed us, tormented us. Why shouldn't we give them a taste of their own medicine?
Scootaloo thought about that for a moment.
The cutie marks are making
It made
decisions
sense
for you.
that way. Another part of her, a small part of her, said it didn't make sense.
No,
But it had to be true.
it's not true.
Sweetie Belle was her friend. Apple Bloom was her friend. They cared about nothing else now. They went into Apple Bloom's home, wandering through the halls close together. Apple Bloom pointed into one room.
I know there are sheets in a closet in here. You girls look in that room for other stuff we might need.
Sheets.
She walked into the room, and Sweetie and Scootaloo walked down the hall to the other room. But when they stepped into the room, they could hear a ringing in their ears and felt the blood spill out. They
Ugh.
covered their ears and returned to Apple Bloom. Apple Bloom was laying on the floor, blood flowing from her ears, her mouth, and her eyes. Her expression was
That
unfocused.
is disgusting.
Foam came from her mouth like she was some sort of wild animal. She gulped, standing back up and looking at the girls. Her eyes were bloodshot and teary.
Let's search together.
They
Search
eventually
together.
grabbed food, blankets, and other things that they may need, going back to the clubhouse and locking it shut. dropping everything on the floor. They sighed in unison. Scootaloo closed all the curtains, pointing out that it was already getting late. They spread out the 3 blankets and slept on them for the night.
I had a feeling it was nighttime. What was that?
Sunlight peeked through the small openings through the curtains, blinding Apple Bloom when her eyes opened.
Is this calm before the storm?
She felt like she had barely slept. She looked at the other sleeping girls and looked around the room, barely remembering where she was and the events of yesterday. She rubbed her eyes and yawned, but when she took her hooves away from her eyes, they came back smeared with blood.
Blood.
But why? We're all in the same room together. This shouldn't be happening.
No.
Apple Bloom looked closer at her friends, noticing that they too had blood coming from every opening. They were spread out through the room. Did this mean that they had to be even closer now?
Maybe.
Apple Bloom began to panic. It felt like the walls were closing in on them. She felt claustrophobic. She needed fresh air.
I think you're hallucinating,
She took a deep breath in and unlocked the door quickly, running outside and falling to the bright green grass in pain. Her ears rung and her vision blurred, but she could barely feel the 2 sets of hooves on her, picking her up and setting her back into the clubhouse. Her vision quickly cleared up.
That's very
Blood
disturbing what's
stopped
happening
flowing out
in the
as the
music.
2 young mares kept their hooves on her.
We can't leave.
Sweetie coughed.
You can leave.
We have to stay together now. We really can't leave each other's sides.
She sat down,
It's gonna be
looking at the floor.
okay.
Tears and blood mixed and fell down her face. They all sat together on the floor, looking at one another.
Someone sounds like someone's
Scootaloo
creeping
looked
up on
around the
them.
room, and her eye caught what she was looking for. She gestured her hoof, and the 2 followed rather closer than normal to the stand. Sitting atop it was a shiny knife.
Grabbed it when we were in the kitchen.
She said, sliding her hoof across the shiny surface, looking up at them.
I have an idea. We have to stick together, right? What if we each take a piece of us?
She slid the knife over her leg without hesitating. If she felt pain,
That piece
she
of
was not
dirt in
showing
a
it.
cold stone cage.
She sliced off a thin piece of her skin, watching it bleed down her leg.
Ugh.
And stay together.
She pressed the thin flesh to Apple Bloom's chest, and Apple Bloom held it there. Apple Bloom and Sweetie Belle looked at Scootaloo with a sudden hope and curiosity, a hunger to finally be free of the pain. Apple Bloom put
by
Scootaloo's
killing
flesh
yourself
on her
or killing your
back,
friends.
blood dripping down and staining her light coat. She snatched the knife from Scootaloo's hoof and cut her leg quickly, too quickly, and cut a bigger chunk than she had intended to. She cringed, trying to contain herself and the
Cringe?
pain.
What about me?
It wasn't terrible. They all had gotten so used to pain at this point that they hardly felt it anymore. But cutting deep into her own leg still felt like fire and came with a burning sensation. She cut off another from another leg, this time a hind leg,
That
carefully
is
cutting
disgusting.
this time, and handed the knife to Sweetie Belle, who grasped it in her light green magic.
That's assisted
Sweetie
suicide.
almost gracefully cut off 2 chunks of her own flesh, the first from her leg,
Why?
and the second one she decided to be more creative.
I like doing pretty designs.
Oh, come
Maybe
on.
I'll just...
She dug the knife deep into her chest, and the others watched curiously as Sweetie cut a crudely shaped heart, meeting the cut where she had started, and cried out in pain and joy as she dug out the heart, leaving a large heart-shaped bloody gash on her chest. She gasped, tears and blood running down her cheeks, a smile slowly spreading across her face.
It's a pretty heart.
She choked out between heavy breaths and gasps. Her voice came out raspy and painful. She gave the heart to Apple Bloom, who took it hesitantly, but tried to look grateful with a fake smile. Sweetie smiled back. Scootaloo took the knife to cut off another part of her leg
up.
and gave it to Sweetie. They all now had a piece of each other. They continued to stay in the clubhouse. Carrying around each other's flesh had seemed to work well for a day, but no longer worked after that. They sat together, huddled on the floor, twitching and sobbing from the pain. They had to be touching. Not nearby, not close, not even standing next to each other.
What's up with the music?
Touching. They had their hooves pressed together. The pain was less, but it was still there. Applebloom felt that she had endured it the most. The other girls did not know what she had been through. She had it the worst. At this point, all of them wanted to be together. They no longer cared for their families or any pony else. The only thing that mattered was each other. That little voice that whispered to them that they only needed each other. Their cutie marks. To fulfill their destinies.
And died together.
Their purpose.
And you died.
But Applebloom still felt something for her family. Applejack. She just wanted to be happy. They could not be like this forever. They could not stay like this. It wouldn't work. Applebloom felt an idea forming in her head.
And why is Sweetbird not dead yet?
One that made her sick, but at the same time, appealed to her. She found herself eyeing the bloody knife once again, and the sparkle in her eyes returned to her. Not a spark of joy, which she had originally, but a different sparkle. A devious sparkle of hope.
What?
Blood stained the floor of the Cutie Mark Crusaders clubhouse. A knife emerged from a lifeless white corpse. A body of a young Pegasus lay nearby, her bright purple eyes dead and cold. Yes, all of the Cutie Mark Crusaders were gathered here. All of their bodies were here. But only one had lived. All of them cold and empty, drained of any feeling, any life or rational thoughts. The Earth Pony dropped the knife. Even as she stepped away from her former friends, she still felt that same burning desire to be close to them. She still felt blood pouring from every opening. She still felt the pain.
Sweetbird
ears
died,
and her
dead.
vision blurred.
Scootaloo's dead.
She could barely walk from the deep cuts in her legs, but what she could see were the colors of what she recognized as the train. A loud whistle screamed in her ears. Not only the scream of the train, but the screams of her friends, who were now beyond the grave, yet they still screamed in her mind, speaking to her, screaming in agony and pain, asking why she had killed them. They now lived within her head. They were forever connected, and it would stay that way, even after death.
Murderer,
Nothing could separate them. They had journeyed and tried so hard for so many years, working towards their goal to discover their destinies. But in the end, those destinies, their own achievements, had killed them, slowly destroying them, ripping them apart while keeping them together.
This is messed
The
up.
walls closed in on them until one finally snapped, unable to handle the torture any further. The young mare gazed left of the track, and she looked up slowly to smile and greet the bright lights of the train raging toward her.
Oh, bloody hell, that was bright. Shit. Oh my gosh. The Pony Express is being delayed. Oh, I know this is right. We're sorry to announce that the 12:25 to Las Pexes has been cancelled due to some pony on the track. And we are sorry for the delay. Okay, end of that one. Okay, let's start the reading. We didn't know what. I didn't know what's going on, but it's not until you get in the middle of the story that you're thinking something's really, really messed up. I was saying, was it the their own cutie mark doing all this mind control murder, suicide crap. I was that close from coughing. I was that fucking close for coughing. You know what I mean? And Apple Bloom's behind me, dead. I haven't got a train around there. Okay, that was a good reading from Spo. That's a fucking messed up story, and it still is. There's not many CMC Grimdark readings. I wish there were more, actually. In my opinion, I don't know why. I don't know why. I just like to react to these shit and make me fucking cough. You know what I mean? But seriously, that was fucking messed up, and I will see you next time. Messed up.